So Yvonne asks, when something happens, i.e. an operation, kids are sick, something totally unplanned, how do you stay in the mindset nutritionally and your training?
Okay, so I think this comes down to the real reason you went off track in the first place, and I believe the real reason you go off track in the first place is it's a legitimate reason. Okay, so something happens in your life that is a legitimate reason you can't make the gym, you are forced to maybe sometimes make unhealthy choices, and it's a very, very good reason why it's happened. But I believe over a period of time, then that legitimate reason becomes an excuse. It becomes an excuse because you're scared of getting back into it, so then the only other pleasure you go for is worse food. You keep eating bad food because that's the only pleasure you can get, because you're scared of going back into the gym, and you're scared of getting back into that routine. So now all of a sudden you're making excuses. It's not a legitimate reason anymore, and it is an excuse. And the only really way to overcome that is, I believe, honesty. And we're all very capable of lying to ourselves. And if we're lying to ourselves, then nobody can help us, and we can't help ourselves. So there comes a period of time where you have to sit down with yourself and basically be honest with yourself and say, is this reason still legitimate why I can't carry on training? Is this reason legitimate why I can't eat healthy? And 9 times out of 10 it's not. So once you're honest with yourself, the truth will always set you free, and you'll be straight back into routine.
Wow, good. Carl Hall asks, maintaining will be in calories and training once you've got into shape.
Okay, so once we've got into shape, I'd say you've probably set yourself a goal. You might set yourself a target. You might have done a shoot over the next 12 weeks. You might have set yourself a goal to get into a certain dress for a certain date. You might have a wedding. Any number of reasons you've set yourself to that goal. What a lot of people think then is they think, once they've reached that goal, what do I do now? How do I maintain the shape that I'm in? And it's very simple. The same answer as to why you got there in the first place. You set yourself a goal. I believe we should all have a competition in our own head to not only be the best version of ourselves, but to constantly push ourselves, look around us. Don't be arrogant and think that you're trying to be better than people, but it's healthy competition. You're trying to better yourself. You are trying to be better than those people around you. You don't boast or say that you're better, but it's just healthy competition. And I believe once you reach a goal, then why shouldn't you set another goal? Life's a competition. I think we should always keep pushing ourselves in different goals. So that's how we sort of maintain. The certain goals might differ, so you might reach a certain body shape. Say, let's use the shoot for example. You might reach a certain level where you are lean, and you are really happy. You might then, after the shoot, you might not wish to stay that lean, so we can sort of build another goal. You might want to pick a different body part you want to improve on. You might want to get stronger in certain lifts. You might want to do another sort of activity. But it's all about setting yourselves a goal, and I don't think there's no reason why we couldn't always be going to a goal. It helps in every area of our life, helps us give a little bit more structure in every area of our life as well. So setting yourself targets and goals to work towards, I think, is key to maintaining any sort of healthy living lifestyle.
Shirley asks, could you do ideas for months menus instead of weeks, and why we don't do them?
Okay, so we send out a meal list, and it's not a week's food, it's not a day's food, it's more the principles of healthy eating. Okay, so there's a lot of different things that you can do. You hear of these days with they give you meal plans, they give you recipe books, they give you this structure to follow. But it comes back to the same point that we mentioned before. What happens when you go off track? What happens if you have no idea how to get in shape? What happens if you go away for the weekend, you walk into a shop, you haven't got your meal plan that Carl gave you, so you can't have your meal for chicken and rice because you've not got it with you. What do you do when you go into a shop? You need to know how to live a healthier life. You need to know what foods to pick up when you go off track. You need to know what foods to pick up when you go into a shop. You need to know the principles of healthy eating, and that is what we choose to do. Now, it will be a lot easier for us as coaches to sit down for an hour, write down all the nutrition goals, give loads of diet plans, and when we get a new member, we'd say, here's month 1, follow that plan, here's month 2, follow that plan. But we want to train people to be as good so they can walk into any gym in the country, know what to do, walk into any supermarket, any restaurant, know what to eat as a healthy choice for them. But then we like to provide them with an atmosphere that they can actually, so they want to actually stay with us as well. But we like to make people good enough to do it on their own, but we give them an atmosphere that they don't want to do it on their own. But I think that's very important. You need to understand the principles of healthy eating. So the food plan that we do send out is just whole foods, whole natural foods. And you look at it logistically and you think, right, I know I can eat this type of meat, I can eat this type of vegetable. So you can make a stir fry with it one night, you can make a homemade shepherd's pie with it the other night. It's just thinking for yourself, and the more you think for yourself and create your own habit, then the more likely you are to stick to it, because it's your habit. It's not what Transformation HQ sent you on month 2. Because if you do follow something that somebody else told you, you'll eventually do what you want to do, because we're all human beings and we all do what we want to do in the end.